What is up, everybody? Today, as you guys requested, I'm going to be doing a Singed guide for top lane. And the things we're going to be talking about in this video are going to be the pros and cons, the runes, the matchups that you need to look out for when playing top, the build, and we're going to do a VOD review at the end of the video in High Diamond. Let's talk about the pros and cons first. One of the biggest pros of Singed is that he's bald. Well, that's also considered a con as well. It actually depends on how you guys take it. I don't know. But he is one of the fastest champions in the game, which is pretty good because it's very easy to dodge skill shots when you're so fast. You run with Ghost, you stack your passive, and it's almost impossible for anything to hit you basically. But if you get CC locked, you're almost certainly dead. So you need to look out for that. It takes experience in playing games, and you can pretty much perfect it when you play the champion a lot. You also get an extreme dopamine rush when you play late game and stack passive and Ghost. The champ is pretty strong in the early game and in the late game if you use him correctly. For example, if you're having early matchup against Olaf or Darius, you would casually think to stay under turret or to proxy the first wave, but you can actually outplay it depending on what you go for your summoner spells. If you actually go Ghost, you can stack your Conqueror stacks very fast, and you can actually kill a Darius level 2, Olaf as well. If you play it better than the enemy, it's almost certain that you will win. One more thing for Singed is that you can play pretty well if you're behind. It doesn't matter if they're up CS or they pretty much have more items. The champion is very unpredictable, and the enemy doesn't realize when you hit your power spikes. So for example, you are very behind, go for Boots and Rylai, you can still be useful for your team just because you're so fast and you can get to the backline if you don't get CC locked, that is. The champion itself is very fun in low elo, and it's very useful in high elo as well. You can play it all the way back in Iron, and you can play it in Challenger. The rank 1 Singed player in the Chinese super server played Singed to rank 1, so that just goes to say that Singed is extremely good champion. He also has a variable playstyle, but it depends on the runes you take. For example, you can go Conquer, you can also go Predator, and you can go Phase Rush. You can basically do whatever you want with this champ. You can go Unsealed Spellbook. It all depends. Like if you go Spellbook, you can proxy waves much faster because you have Hex Slash. If you go Conquer, you always look for fights, for trades, depending on what kind of the matchup is. If you have like a Vayne top or like a Quinn or something, and it's a very hard time getting to her, you can go Predator. Like level 6, you can all in the champs and kill them, even if you don't have Conquer. One more thing that I would like to mention in the pros is that the W spell, which most of you guys probably don't know, or maybe you do, I don't know, is that it cancels teleports and recalls. Now, this is actually pretty useful because when you get the unsealed teleport, most people would see a fight on Drake and start teleporting. But usually you play Singed with Flash and Ghost. But I would go over this later in the video. You see him teleporting, you just throw your W and boom. His TP is gone, he's tilted, he's gonna start going for you, and that's when you can easily kill him because he's tilted. He's very OP against melee champions, and he has an overall extremely good champion kit. Now we're gonna go over the cons. He's quite weak against ranged champions. For example, if the enemy team has like 2 or 3 ADCs, it's very hard to get to them, and even if you throw one of them or root one of them or slow one of them, that means just the other ones are just gonna shoot you, You don't build armor, especially for the first 3 core items, which we're gonna go over later in the video. So you're kind of squishy. You're very dependent on the way that you move around and the way that you move skill shots. But for ADCs, they don't have any skill shots most of the time. They just auto attack you to death, and you can't really do anything about it. One more thing is that Singed is kind of considered a stat stick champion like Mundo before the rework, especially his R ability. So the champ itself is basically very dependent on items and level. Level 16 is typically when the champion is like at his peak, because your R gives you 100 stats in like every single aspect, and plus the anti-heal. So level 16, this champ is an absolute beast. You can run down enemies, not give a fuck about anything. It's insane. He's also not beginner friendly. So most of you guys, if you've never played this champion, if you decide to pick him up, you will fail. And that's alright, because I failed as well. I've played like a lot of games on Singed, but at the beginning you're gonna be like, oh my god, this champ is so weak, everybody else is so strong. But that's because you still haven't understood the deep aspects of this champion. So yeah, the beginning is always hard, but you also push through. he has very certain matchups that are almost impossible to play against. For example, one of them is Camille, because I had a very hard time playing against Camille, especially champions that can lock you up. For example, Veigar, you'll not meet him on top, but when you have team fights and he's mid, it's still going to be a pretty big issue. But Veigar, Camille, and Yorick are so disgusting to play against. If they put you in their little hole or whatever, and Camille are, you can't escape. Your champion relies on speed and to move around the map very fast. And when you can't do that, you're easily killable, so you can't do anything. Also, I said in the pros that the champion is pretty strong in the early game if you play correctly, and pretty strong in the late game. But he has a semi-weak mid game if you're behind. You can make it work if you're pretty ahead, but the mid game is typically not that good. It's alright. It's not like it's bad or something, but it's alright. Let's talk about the runes a little bit. The first basic rune page that you should follow when you're not certain what kind of matchup you're playing against is this one. You have Conquer and you have enough movement speed. The only thing I would change is probably the health. On the second page, I would go for scaling health. It's overall like better, unless you're certain that you're gonna win early trades. But there's a lot of different variations that you can go for every single rune, because Singed can play with many different rune pages. So if you want to go for early game, you can go Scorch and Celerity and go for early game health. This would allow you to trade early game, and this would work against champions that are not that strong early on. For example, this would not be a good rune page against a Darius unless you play it correctly, or an Olaf. For example, you could win, but it's not certain. Like, for example, if the Olaf has Ignite, you are not winning that matchup unless you have Ignite too. So you can play this against like normal matchups like Fiora, do a cheese on level 2 and kill them, they're tilted and you win the game off that. Predator is going to be your second option if you know your matchup is unplayable. For example, if you have a Rengar top or a Vayne top, if you have something ranged like a Kennen or a Quinn, it's going to be very hard for you to play early on. So you would have to do something else to win the game. You're not going to be able to stay on lane, and staying on lane is just going to cause you to go behind even further. So the only viable option when you have an unplayable matchup on top is to do something else, and that is to roam the map, get kills, get objectives, play around your jungler, and do cheese strats, because this is the only thing you can actually do. Of course, there are variations of the Predator rune page. You can either go this for as much movement speed as you can and scaling, or you can go with Second Wind and Unflinching if you want to stay, maybe Proxy, and you know that you're going to be getting poked a little bit. Start D-Shield and you're fine. Basically, this would be probably my go-to option, but if you think that roaming is not going to do you better, I would recommend you just go Unsealed Spellbook, since you have Futures Market, you can recall and almost never have a bad buy. With Hex Flash, you can proxy whenever you like, basically, because you can flash over walls, you can change your summoner spells, you can teleport out of battle, you can ghost to run away if like someone tries to go for you. This way you can secure vision for your jungler as well. So Unsealed Spellbook is my go-to option when you have the worst matchup of your life, basically almost every single ranged champion. Until you get level 6, you can't really interact with these champs unless your jungler comes and helps you. But even then, you are gonna be CS behind unless you proxy. This is the only thing you can actually do. In EU, most Singed players proxy, even though if you turn on a stream for like a Chinese Singed, he doesn't do that. He tries to fight with Ignite. In my opinion, for the long term, it's better to learn to proxy. I would be dropping a proxy guide soon as well, if you guys like, of course. Unsealed Spellbook is going to be your best option when you can't play lane. Just flash over the wall, go proxy, get poked on lane, it's whatever. You have Second Wind, you have Unflinching, you have D-Shield, you're not going to get damage. And when you see the perfect opportunity, your jungler is there, you just throw your W, you fling, and Singed is very easily gankable. Even if they flash away, it's alright. They still die, because early game ranged champions are not that good with escaping, and they're quite squishy. Yes, they're annoying on lane, but they're very easily killable if you communicate with your jungler correctly. Alright, let's go over the matchups now. Singed has quite a lot of alright matchups, but he has some very bad matchups and some pretty good ones. In the video, I'm just going to show you the worst ones, and I'm going to show you the best ones. The worst you can get in your game is going to be Eloy. That's the first champion that's going to be extremely hard to play against because of the slows, and your laning phase is extremely hard. So what I recommend you do is probably proxy. That's going to be your best option. Second very bad matchup is going to be Karma. Again, slows, stuns. Laning is absolutely impossible against this unless you get help from your jungler. So again, I would probably just proxy against this or roam. Then Rengar is very difficult too. I would again proxy against this champion and not stay on lane at all. I would probably go for a proxy. After that, it's Vayne. Vayne is very disgusting as well because it just pokes you, man. Every Vayne top player is so disgusting in my opinion. Of course, there are players from my audience that play Vayne top. Don't get offended or anything, but you need to take second win and unflinching against this and probably play it at steel caps. Do basically whatever you can to survive the laning phase because you will be more useful in a teamfight situation than this champion. You just have to not tilt in the early game and play from behind. That's it. Next one, and probably the worst one out of them all, is Yorick. This is disgusting. This champion is so unbelievably broken and disgusting. I just permaban it every single goddamn game. Laning is impossible. It shoves waves faster than you. It deals insane amounts of damage. It slows you. It puts you in a cage. It one-shots you. You can't build anything against it. It does everything you do 10 times better, but the only thing that's a difference is that you're the better team fighter. Good luck team fighting. When you go for a team fight, this guy's just gonna go end you top. You know, you can't do anything against it. It's actually insane. This champion needs to be removed from the game, my honest opinion. I will honestly permaban this champion when I play ranked. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Even if you proxy, okay, you're gonna be equal CS, but guess what? You join a team fight, your inhibitor is gone in like 2 seconds. Now we're gonna go over some of the best matchups you can have. One of them is gonna be Riven. Generally speaking, your best matchups are gonna be oriented towards champions that have a lot of movement, and you can really cuck their movement with your W spell. And you can get some easy ganks from your jungler. Riven is one example because she has dashes from her E and from her Q. So you basically can cancel her entire kit and trade very well with this champion. Why? Because when you throw your W, she can't do anything. She can only stun you with her W. That's it. She can't Q, she can't E, she doesn't get the shield. You can do a quick trade, you see W, it's about to run out, go away. That's it. And your lane is one. It's easy. I would go Conquer against this. Another one is Yasuo. Again, extremely easy matchup. Generally, you stomp this champ. Again, E, you just throw the W, go for quick trades, try to dodge the Qs. That's it. You win lane easily. Other champion depend on playstyles, but I just wanted to show you the worst ones you can have and the best ones you can have. Of course, that really depends. Singed has very different interactions with quite a lot of champions. Like, for example, I can give you an example with Akali. When she goes into her shroud, her W, if you have anti-heal, like your R, when you activate your R, your poison actually deals damage to her and you can see her. So this is a cool interaction you guys should learn. The best advice I can actually give you is not just to show you like every single matchup, you have to go experience it yourself. Trust me, I have not learned to play different runes and different playstyles against champions just by watching a YouTube video. So my honest recommendation for you guys is just to go in game, fail, limit test, even if you're low elo, even if you're high elo, you just need to limit test the living hell out of this champion in order to learn it and perfect it. You need to play, and then you'll finally learn. Alright, let's talk about the build now. 90% of the time, you're gonna need to start Thorn's Ring. D-Shield is okay if you have a ranged matchup on top, something like a Cannon or a Vayne. Then it's okay to play D-Shield, but 90% of the time, I recommend you guys start D-Ring. After that, after you get your D-Ring, depending on what your matchup is, for example, if it's something tanky, I would prefer you get Liandry's Torment first. Now, you wouldn't exactly build the item first, but you wouldn't rush boots either. If you remember on my last guide, if you guys watched it, I told you to rush boots, but rushing boots is only good if you have Predator. In this scenario, you actually need damage. You can slow your enemies with your W, so you don't need that much movement speed, you need damage. If you know you can trade with the enemy top laner, I would recommend you start this, then buy boots, and then go into either Riftmaker or Rylai. Now, this of course depends again on what you want to do. If they have champions that have a lot of mobility, I would recommend you go Rylai. On the other hand, Riftmaker is going to be a good item for you if you want to deal as much damage as possible. My recommended build path, if you're ahead, and that's what I do every single game, almost every single game actually, like 90% of the time, is go Liandry. If I'm fed, then I go Riftmaker. Even if I'm not that fed, I still go Riftmaker. And then I would go for the Rylai. You can switch the order around, maybe go Rylai before Riftmaker, But this would be your 3 core items. What you can also do is start with Rylai. Now, playing from behind sometimes sucks, so what you need to do when you're behind, you just need to farm, look for opportunities, fights in the river, and do the best you can. Rylai is a very OP option when you're behind because it can make you useful 10 times more than the damage you're gonna output if you build Liandry later than your opponents. So Rylai, very good option if you are behind. After I get my core items, Liandry, Riftmaker, and Rylai, I would recommend get some armor actually, because then after you get your 3 core items, we start going into late game, so you actually need a little bit of armor. Jak'Sho is a very good option here, but nearly all the time I go for Zhonya's. Zhonya's is an extremely OP item in so many scenarios. You do not get one shot, and your poison is still dealing damage while you're immune. So you can take your enemies by surprise with this item. You go into a fight, you're 1 HP, and you can Zhonya, and they can't kill you. Your teammates join after that, swipe the enemies. It's so simple actually. After Zhonya's, I would look at the biggest threat of the enemy team and decide from there. But if I see that they have a lot of AP, I would either go for a Kaenic Rukern or Force of Nature. If they have like Fed ADC or something, I would go Frozen Heart. But if they have something mixed, Jak'Sho is the perfect item. So this would be your full build. And you should go Elixir of Iron. This is what I run 90% of the games, and it's so broken actually, because when you press R, look at the stats. You have 314 armor, 217 MR. It's so insane. The movement speed is insane. This champion is extremely broken late game. It's so insane. Alright, let's do the VOD review now. Some things I want to say at the beginning is that even if you lose lane, you shouldn't get tilted because enemies make mistakes and you can actually still win the game. In this scenario, I'm playing against the Shen with Grasp and I have Ghost and Teleport. I decided to play Teleport into this matchup so I could actually split push against him or with him. So even if he teleports with Azar, I can either stop it with my W or teleport for fights faster. Meaning, if I start a fight here, and he decides to teleport, I stop it, and then I teleport. So, we would get an advantage. But, over here at the beginning, as you can guys see, I get a very bad beginning. And over the course of the laning phase, he kind of beats me. And this is because what I didn't take into account, I tried to proxy level 1, but I was blocked from the Karthus and the Shen. So this is a very big problem for us right now. So, I want you to write down in the comments what you think would be the correct play here. Okay. I skipped the game a little bit further to see where we get our first solo kill, or at least he kills us. Right now the difference is CS. I have 15, he has 27, so deficit is not even that big still. But over here I get slowed from the Q when he pulls the sword. I get slowed from his passive. And over here he probably is gonna all in me, and that's how I meet my first death. So yes, actually, he does not have vision in this bush, but he knows that I'm in here. So, of course, he spots me, all-ins me, he has the grass proc active, flashes and finishes me off. So right now, my wave is doomed, because he can freeze it right here. Not only that, he just killed me, and I'm behind CS. So right now, I'm in a very, very bad spot. So, let's skip a little, and he teleports for something as well. Let's skip a little further here. Over here, let me lower down the volume a little bit. Over here, they decide to put Shen bot, and I start matching their ADC. So, I see my jungler going for grubs, and it's a 3v1 scenario for free. Even though their bot lane moved first, they should have been the one to take it. But we managed to catch off the Karthus, who was very ahead on our jungler. Double the CS and 1 kill. So we got the shutdown. I managed to get it, which is very good because I'm kind of back into the game. Over here they zone me a little bit, but that's not a very big problem. So still I'm losing to the Shen, but here's what I do in order to win the game. So over here, after a fresh reset, I see that the Shen has shoved a wave in and is kind of greedy. So here's what I do. I slow him and he's half HP, so this is most of the time just an easy kill. I throw him, he tanks a shot, or maybe not, okay? And I see my jungler is also here. So, easy kill here. That's his mistake. Oh my god, he actually nearly killed me there as well. He made a mistake, and he paid for it. Now, at this point of the game, one of the biggest mistakes occurs. Their bot lane is extremely fed right now. Look at this. 7-2, 5-2 Camille with Thunder Sky. So they're extremely fed, and I decide to walk up like this. I decide to walk up in order to catch the wave. Because my team is doing something entirely else, and I can't do anything. So I go in for the wave, and then they just decide to dive me. Of course, that results in the easiest kill ever, with them escaping and pushing us very deep. So that's kind of my mistake, and you should always like be careful. It's better to let the inhibitor fall anyways if you know you're gonna die. There was no other way for me to stall it. I just got doped. So over here, I don't know if they killed him or anything. Let's see. So they do push very deep in here, and we get some ultimates. He gets a triple kill, and from here on out, I'm like, the game is doomed. So 1 HP. I decide to charge in here, act like I given up, and just go and throw him in there. Boom, 1,000 gold in my pocket. And then I go and I can easily defend this. So one more thing that's very important when playing, guys, is not to give up. Even though, look at the difference right now. It's 10,000 gold. I'm sure that this game is lost, but we did not give up. Let's see how we actually turn it. Over here, I have nothing else to do other than just push. I know that my late game is much better than the Shen. So what I intend to do is just get XP, get minions, get my items, and just snowball out of control. Over here, I see that they're fighting for the tier 2. So I decide to roam in. My jungler gets a knock up on the... That was a weird interaction, by the way. She shouldn't be able to do that. But over here, we secure the Camille easily. Their mistake, another shutdown for me, and we probably kill the Shen too. My jungler gets it. So, as of right now, we're slowly coming back, but still not very good. Now, right here, we do not have any vision on Baron, so I think that they're doing it. My jungler starts doing it for some reason, I don't know why. And I know that the fight's gonna occur. We just killed them, so something is bound to happen here. I walk up, and unfortunately, we do not get any fast kills. We didn't manage to kill her very fast. Shen is here, and we pretty much lost this fight, and we should have lost the game as well. They didn't finish in time though. Let's skip a little further in. I'm now level 17, and I already have good CS. I'm now equal with the Shen because he stopped CSing, but look at the items. He has Kanik, Rukern, and he has Hydra, while I have 3 items complete and I have the Seeker's Arm Guard passive from the Zhonya's. So right now, I'm in a very good spot to fight. So what does the enemy team do right now? They decide to force something on this turret. I go in front in order to stop the wave like this. I don't know why my game is lagging, by the way. This is very weird. They do something like this. Their ADC overextends for no reason. Free kill, we rotate it perfectly. Now, right here, I see that they're trying to push. I ghost and instantly stop them. That's easy kill for my teammates, because when they come here, we kill all of them. Look at this. Beautiful. We kill him, and we kill her. That was extremely beautiful play by me. It's a good point that I did not join in here. I joined in here. So even if you're losing, that doesn't mean your champion is useless. So I did the correct play here, and that resulted in us basically winning the fight. Now look at the gold difference. Look at the gold difference. It's only 4k now. Used to be 10k. There's one more fight in here for Baron. Let's see who wins it. Over here, I get poked for free, which is not a good idea. I engage here because I think it's a good idea. Get poison on nearly everything. I still have Zhonya's. So run like this. Zhonya in the perfect time. Now I'm going to fling the ADC and run. Or die. Alright. And somehow, equal fight, our ADC is still alive. In this situation, look at our team. We have Rakan, Xayah, Kai'Sa, Rek'Sai, and me. What do I need to do here? I need to engage first, because I know that if Rakan engages, he's gonna get killed much faster than I am, because I have Zhonya's. I can risk it. I can go in, make a mistake, and I can still go out. Because I think, I'm almost certain I had flash too. Oh, no, what am I saying? I don't have flash. But that engage was good by me, because it forced something, while Aphelios was overextended here. When the ADC is here, who's gonna deal damage to me here? Irelia? Well, no, she's grounded and she can't catch me. Over here they make another mistake, overextend. Easy kill for us, yet again. And at this point, the game is pretty much over because I am so much more fed now than the Shen. CS ahead, everything, items ahead. So, yeah, just pure domination at this point. And of course, we win the game off of that. So, tip number 1, guys. Do not give up. This game was in Diamond 2. So, even if you think the game is lost, just play it out. Don't tilt, just play. We had 2 ADCs. We had a Kai'Sa and a Xayah. So, I was like, oh, what are they going to do anyways? But we played it correctly. I took the right decisions at the right times. And we managed to win the game. So, don't give up. I know this may have not been the perfect VOD I could have pulled for you guys because I lost lane actually. But it was to set an example not to give up. Play the game. Be patient. Look for opportunities around the map. For example, we were pushed in so hard. They made a mistake. Use their mistake in your advantage and just win the game. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want more guides, you can comment down below. The next video, I don't know what it's going to be about exactly as of right now, but if you want, I can make a guide on proxying as well. So yeah, peace out.